few hours ago, I thought I was entering a vacant house from an estate sale to go walk it and see what the rehab numbers would be. And ended up having someone in there. Now, Mark, you can probably provide a lot more tips on this. I think even when I started, you provided some of these tips, but anytime I'm going to enter a building, I'll look, front door, back door before going in, peek in there, even if I'm in a north side neighborhood. And we're talking about buildings that you think are vacant. But this is one where it came in, the notice that the People's Gas was shutting off the gas was off the door and inside, which, right there, that was kind of weird, right? Who would take that off? But then the very, very obvious one, oven was open and running, right? So People's Gas is off, gas is off. They're using the oven as heat. Right there, that tells you someone's making a home of this place. So for safety reasons, I turned that off. And at that point, probably should just, leave the premise. I'm a more curious individual. So I did still wander around saying, hello and being a little more cautious and end up finding my stranger bum in there. But, I guess, Mark, let's take 2 minutes here. Just talk about like some of the safety precautions you should be doing.
Well, hold on. You saw the guy. You can't leave everyone hanging. What happened?
Not much. Just said, dude, like, what are you doing here? And it was a bum either cracked out or drunk or whatever on the floor at, 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, that's boring.
There's no exciting knife fight that's about to happen here.
So did you leave or did
I do carry one of those, little knives. Pretty much the reason I carry is they cut up the carpet to see if there's hardwood underneath. I do have that on me if anything happens.
That's funny. I always do that. I always pull up the rug right around the vent covers. That way it's usually the most sensitive right there. You usually do it with your hand without a knife. But yeah, you touched on some of the important things of, I was teaching Shay, our new business development person for GC Realty the other day. I always go to the back door. The owner might live out of state and he's telling you, go check it out. I got a lockbox in the front, go to the back door. Push if the door, check the door is open and unlocked. The door might not be open. It might not look like it was busted in, but if the door's unlocked, that's a red flag as well too. You have if you have smoke coming out of the chimney and it's supposed to be vacant, that's usually, if the gas is on and there's heat going, or if there's lights in there, that's a red flag. Or, especially in the winter, you get footprints. So what we're saying here is all, for us, it's on the business development side, but this is if you're looking at bank properties, auction properties, tax sale properties. These are all deemed to be vacant, but in the world we live in right now, you never know who you're going to show up for. And the other big thing I think that I always do, no matter what, when you walk into a vacant property, is to announce yourself in a very loud, kind of confident way. Like, hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying this out loud. I was like, City of Chicago, City of Chicago. And I yell really loud, much louder than I just did there. But then at least you hear, then after that, you stop.
You'll hear the scurry.
And you hear for a scurry. Now, the scary part is sometimes you're not sure if it's a person or a rat. And some of these really like burned out, not burned out, but like these really vacant, like needs a lot of work properties. You're not ssure if those are non-paying rodents versus people. But yeah, no, you usually do that. And, for us in the past, if it's proper buying, you say, hey, listen, I just here for the city, or I'm here for the bank, and, they're expected vacant. They're coming by with a whole bunch of people here later on today. So I want to make sure that you don't get caught in that. So you might want to pack up and get out of here. So I've had those conversations. Now, I've heard, maybe we'll have on here for someday a story. I know 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 sat down on the couch and talked to some of these people and had some heart-to-heart conversation about getting people leaving properties he's owned. But that's a whole nother level that I'm not sure if his risk tolerance is that same these days.
That's a high risk tolerance. I mean, you gotta remember, there's part of me that's like, hey, it's harmless, but it's also like, that's someone who has nothing to lose, right? Like, you shouldn't take the matter lightly.
Well, I think back often, and I went to a property on a Saturday about 10 a.m. in Roselle, and it was a HUD property, and I walked in, and there's a guy like blacked out on the floor, and I continued just looking at the property like with one of the business partners at the time, like it was nothing. Now that guy could have woke up with a gun, he could have startled him, like who knows, like you just never know. Like some of those things I did back then were kind of stupid, so I wouldn't recommend doing anything but just kind of, you see somebody, get out of there quietly and report to whoever you need to. Like in that scenario, it might be HUD, or it might be a listing agent, or it might be, for us, it's an owner of a property.
Yeah. One more, and I think, Mark, you're the one who told me this years ago, but when you're going in, I always lock the door behind you as well, so no one's coming in after you.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big one. Now, the thing about that is usually you close that door, it gets dark right away. So make sure you're always prepared with the flashlight if that's the case. But yeah, locking the door behind you. That way, when you're in the second floor and you're in the basement, you hear that door open, you got a problem versus just like, so for me, leaving the door unlocked and open, the wind has like scared, taking years off my life, just banging the door against the wall and me freaking out on another level of the house.
Yeah. Cool. So does this count as the housing provider tip? Was this just one long ramble?
Yeah, it was one long ramble. I'll say one more thing too. When you're walking around the outside of the property too, and you see neighbors outside, talk to them.
Ask. There's so much information, even the safety part, but so much info to be gathered there.
Especially if you're going to buy the property, you get a lot of insight, and then that's square one for starting the rapport of your building with your neighbors, so they don't call 301 on you when you actually do your rehab.